Put in AirPods.
Well, so I'm like, they were working and now they're not. Hello?
You guys good? I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hold.
Hey, Tara. Now she's frozen.
Is she frozen? Oh, Lord. I want to hear some acting stories from when you guys were growing up.
Oh my gosh. There's so many.
Hello?
Hey, friend.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We are good to go.
Yes. Oh, phew. Okay. AirPods are working. Thank God. Oh my Lanza, look who we got here.
No, I'm literally saying the same thing about you.
So tell me how you guys
Stop
met.
it.
And give me some good stories. I want some embarrassing stories about my manager and co-host.
I mean, so we met, it was very odd, but I mean, odd because of just like what it was regarding. Like, it was a different type of podcast, and it was all like giving advice to teenagers. And like, we were just kind of on the original panel, and it was just out of this lady's house, and like, it was just a very interesting time. But I mean, that's how we met. I mean, we were like the first original cast and everything, right? With like that whole casting process and whatnot. And yeah.
Literally. And then had it so many people. Well, then we're like, wait a minute. We're going to do our own thing.
Yeah. So then we ended up doing our own little podcast about like being out in LA and being actors, and like not a lot of people would actually talk the truth about acting. And people go to LA all the time, they're like, I want to be an actor, but you don't actually know the nitty-gritty of it all. And so that's kind of like what we started, but then I moved to Texas and that kind of stopped.
Which is great, because you look like you've been living your best life. You met a cool guy like Donnie, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it definitely was the best thing. Like, I mean, I still do auditions and whatnot, but like, I don't know, Texas, I mean, I'm getting a house. Our house is going to be done in February. I know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so like, it was great. It was a great move. But I mean, I've just been watching you since I left, and like, this year was your year, and I could not be more happier for you. Like, oh my God.
Thank you. It's been a journey, but we here. We made it.
Yeah. But like, tell me, so okay, all of your fortunes, in a sense, kind of like happened this year. There was so many big accomplishments, of course, along with like a lot of chaos and craziness as well. LA, Afterlife, hello. But what was kind of like, what was the month, or what was like the day time? Do you remember where you like got that call and it's just like, okay, wait, this is it. Like, this is now my year type of thing. What was that day for you?
I think it happened probably last year, like in 2021, like right before we filmed the movie, because we filmed last year with everything. So the first project that I worked with Antoine Fuqua, who directed Emancipation, Training Day, Denzel Washington's, like a bunch of his stuff. And I got this little small co-star on the Terminal List, and that was starring Chris Pratt on Amazon Prime. And it was just like this, I think no roles are small, you know what I mean? That's what they say. But it wasn't, because it was only a co-star role with 2 lines. And I just went on, did my thing. And the whole creative team was just like, yo, Jabbar, you're dope. You're a cool kid. We'll have you stick around. So that same casting director who cast that, shout out to Betty May, casting, all of them, they're great. 3 months later, they were like, hey, we have this other audition for you that fits better. It's with Apple, Will Smith. Antoine is directing it. And Antoine, I think I met him. I don't even think I met him when I shot the Terminal List, but I think just behind the screen, he was like, oh, that kid takes direction well. And, it was pretty cool. So then circle back around to that. I think he just kept me in mind for this role. And it kind of just like fell into place. And I was like, yes. But that's why they say like no roles are like small, because that was a very small role, 2 lines. But like, I went on there, showed up on time. I did my job professionally. I was nice to everybody, the PAs, everybody in between, and boom.
Yeah. I mean, that is
Well,
so amazing to hear because, like, they say in adult world, everything is all about networking, and it's so true to every single type of industry that you're in. But I mean, that could not be more true within the acting industry. It's like you never know who is going to make the next big project, do the next big thing. And so, as long as you're kind and nice, like, and I mean, you are kind, you're nice, you're phenomenal. So I wouldn't doubt that would happen to you. And that's so exciting. Like, I didn't know that story. That's so cool to hear. Like,
Yeah, yeah, really cool,
I'm so proud.
so dope.
now
Yeah.
can you tell us about this movie Emancipation, which is starring Will Smith? How can people find it? What was your role in the movie?
Yeah, I played Thomas in the movie. It's Emancipation on Apple TV Plus. Who? It's about the Will Smith described it as not a slave movie, but a freedom movie. And I agree with that. I think what makes this different than any other slave movie is that I think that it's about faith. It has a lot of like faith and trust in God that this is not the end goal. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here. And Will Smith, who plays Peter, I'm not sure if you guys ever saw a picture of him, but he has a scourged back and he's kind of
Mhm.
facing backwards, and he's turned over his shoulder. But he plays him, and it just was a journey. We shot it last year in New Orleans and Louisiana on an actual plantation. They built like a real life Confederate camp. It was really crazy. Like like to live that for 2 months straight, every 5 days a week, 12, 14 hour days. It was like, we're like we are really here. So it was easy to like tap into like the feeling of it. Like even for the audition, it's like okay, you know how it is, Tower. Like setting a backdrop, a light, having a reader with you. You get as much as you can give, but like when
Yeah.
you're actually on set, when you're in the clothes, when you're looking around, and just the script is so amazing, you're just like, wow, I'm safe. I'm here. I'm I'm my ancestors, and that process was kind of like it helped me. I wouldn't say it hindered me. It actually really, really helped me. Just
Yeah.
being on the actual scene of everything.
How so?
Um, I mean, when you look up, you're looking at I don't know, a really large set, really large, expansive set every single day, where we're putting cages, we're wearing heavy metal locks around our necks, on our feet. We're barefoot. We're getting dirt kicked on us. We're uh, being yelled at, screamed at. We're being told what to do. You see other guys being killed for running away. You are hearing bombs exploding, and you're hungry as well. So we have slotted times to eat something, and then we're back to work, or we're back into the cage to film things. And I think just the production side of everything, they made it so easy for us to um, for it to be so immersive and in the world of 1863 to 1865.
Hmm. Now, for this movie, I see you take your fitness very seriously. Was there a certain weight they wanted you for this role?
Um, we've never had a conversation about the weight. It was more
Hmm.
so the hair. At the time, I had like a low cut hair. Like if I had just this and not the braids, if I just
Hmm.
had this, that's what I had. So maybe like 3, 4 weeks beforehand, they were like, "Don't touch your hair," and that's what I knew because I remember even when I got the audition, they were like, "Please don't touch your hair," and I was like, "Why are you guys telling me not to touch my hair?" And I didn't even book the role yet, but it kind of gave
Hmm.
me the indication that oh, they're having me in mind for this role. I might get it. And okay, don't touch my hair. So I think that was like the first thing of it. But physicality wise, they didn't have anything. I mean, when I was there, when I was on set, I was always in the gym because we had scenes where we're running through the forest. Like when you watch the
Hmm.
movie, you're gonna
Mm.
see some really dope, epic action scenes where we're running through the woods, and I just make sure that I stayed in the gym there, especially when you have so much downtime. Like on the weekends and stuff, it's like, what else do you do? It's either eat, it's either drink, or it's either work out. And I was doing all three, so.
Yeah. Did you so I'm assuming like they put you up in a hotel or was it an Airbnb? I'm very curious like the other side like offset, what
Yeah.
can actors expect like when they get to travel and go and do projects like this? How what was all that
Yeah,
like?
yeah, that was my first time ever getting flown out to like somewhere for set or somewhere, and they put me in this really five-star hotel. What's it called? Renaissance Hotel, or it's one of
Okay.
those really, really, really
Renaissance, yeah.
nice. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful hotel. Um, and it's sweet. It's a beautiful suite. It had a full like bathroom, full kitchen, full living room, and it's just like really crazy. I'm like actually in the middle of putting a whole vlog thing because of course I like filmed everything while I was there. So like,
I was hoping you did, and I was like, wait, why haven't I seen this pop
right,
up on any of your channels yet? Despite me
exactly.
asking all these questions.
Right, right. No, but it's really dope. Like just to be there, and I was there for 2 months. So like even
Wow.
there, I was just like, wow, this is a big budget. Like paying for a hotel room for 2 months just for me, let alone the other actors who are here. Like it's really crazy.
I mean, Will Smith.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Right.
that is so cool. I cannot wait to see that vlog. I am so excited.
Right. I can't wait.
Yeah. And then like so I mean, obviously there was a lot of people, a lot of crew, a lot of everything. Did you get any time with Will Smith? Like we have to talk about it. Like any cool conversations that you had with him? Anything at all that you want to tell everybody?
Yeah, something that I've been told.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I want
so
the
the
tea.
first time I met him was at the table read. So like maybe a week before we actually started filming, we had a table read, and it was the first time getting to meet the director, the producers, the writer of the film. We all sat around, and we all got there earlier before Will. You know, he shows up like a superstar, and he shows up, and everyone's just like, okay, he's here, and he goes around, he meets everybody. We tell him who we're playing, and really cool guy. After that, I remember the table read. He was just having a conversation with the production team and the writer director, just in terms of like the logistics part of it, which I thought was really cool because he also has his name a part of it. Like Westbrook, his company is attached to the film, so he was
Hmm.
very involved on the creative side as well. But on set, he really just showed me how to be a superstar. Every single day, he would come on set, and there's 200 plus background actors, and he would come up to each and every one of them and shake their hands and just thank them
Wow.
for being here. And, of course, they're so like, Will Smith, and, he'll take pictures with them. On the really hot days, he would do
He
raffles.
was.
And yeah, like on the really
Wow.
hot days, he would do raffles for them. So, like, I think maybe 10 people that day will get like $500 each. Like he was doing stuff like
Wow.
that. Yeah. And then this cool story, I have never told anybody this other than
Oh.
my own family.
Ooh.
You know how you like you're in your trailer and you get like a knock on your door. You're
Yeah.
like you think that's a PA being like, "Hey, we're ready for you in the 5 or we're ready
Yeah.
for you right now." I get a knock and it's Will. And I'm like, mind you, his compound, like he has his own hair, makeup, own trailer,
Hmm.
own team on the other side of the base that we are on. So when he
Yeah.
comes up, he's like, "Hey, can I come inside?" I'm like, "Sure." So like we go inside my trailer,
Yeah.
and he thanks me. He shakes my hand. He's like, thank you so much for enduring the hot weather. We were filming in 115-degree plus weather every day,
Wow.
sweating. We can't wash our unit like what we were wearing our costumes because continuity, and like if we got mud kicked on us this scene, then we're moving on. We gotta, it's just the same thing. So like, thank you so much for enduring the weather, the conditions. It was raining, thunderstorming every 5 seconds. Every time it rained, we had to stop. Every time it thundered or lightning, it was a lightning strike, and we had to go on a 30-minute break. And every time
Mm.
it lightnings again, it hits, we had to reset the time to 30. So it was like a lot of just like stop and goes, which made the movie take so much longer. We were supposed to get the
Mm.
movie done in maybe 3 months. It ended up taking us 7.
Wow.
Wow.
Really crazy. But he came on a trailer and he gives like the little grandma handshake when they like slide you some money in your hand. And I look down and there's like a wad of cash in my hand. All of $100, it's $5,000. And I'm like,
Wow.
all in $100. And he's just like, that's just a little something, something. I'm like looking
Damn.
like what? And he's just like, all right, see you on set. And he leaves like nothing happened. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what is really happening? But like to Will Smith, $5,000 is nothing. That's his token of appreciation for his cast. And I hear that other movies, that's what he does as well. But even in between
Oh,
sets, it's like even between our cuts, and we're just standing around waiting for direction and stuff. Just asking him just small questions of like, he gave me some advice. He was like, if you guys are actors, so like if you guys ever get hurt in your face, like if you cut yourself or get a scar or something, don't call the ambulance. Make sure you call your plastic surgeon because the ambulance will stitch it up and you'll have a scar. He was like, one of his movies earlier in his career, he tried to jump over a fence and he ended up like scratching his eye or his forehead. And he was about to he was going to the hospital, and then he actually thought about it and called his surgeon. The surgeon made it so that it's not on his face anymore. And I was like, oh wow, like that's only something advice that you can get from a star like Will Smith.
Yeah.
He was giving so many gems like that, so many stories about past movies, so many jokes, and just the professionalism is just like top tier, top tier for real.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Man, I
love
love
that.
hearing those types of stories where like the stars are just actually nice because that doesn't happen as
not
much
all the
as you would
time.
think.
No, not
Yeah.
No.
at all. Not at all. Like I mean, thank God I never ran into like somebody who's like a diva or anything, but I hear a lot of stories for sure.
Yeah.
I did some background work on Army Wives, and yeah, some of them, like Brooke Shields, one of the nicest people I'd ever met in my life, and
Yeah,
she's a total superstar. She was so nice and kind,
right.
but I don't want to name names, but there were a couple people who were just total divas.
Yeah, right. Right. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Now, and so then, okay, so Emancipation is out. They can see it on Apple TV Plus. But then you were talking about how you have a recurring role on a show.
Yeah.
Yes. How much can you talk about that with us?
Honestly, I do not know, so I hope I don't get chopped off the chopping block. But no, no. Without telling like the plot and the storyline anyway. This is also a role that it was just a 1 day player, like coming on to do this. Maybe I have maybe like 4 or 5 lines, and that was supposed to be the end of my character. And I came in there. I had maybe a week to prepare in terms of like the audition and then the time they booked me and to be on set and filming it. And I think I just kind of did my job. I went in there very prepared, went in there giving choices. And at the end, I think this is like so gold. You know how they always say like improv is like really good for an actor.
Mm.
And it finally tapped. I was always waiting for the moment where I would have to use improv in like any of my jobs. So I think like at the end of this take, I say my lines, and the director comes up to me and she's like, um, "Can you like do a little bit of something right before you end because it kind of just goes flat?" And I'm like, "All right, you can tell your series regular right there to like continue to see what you're telling me." I'm like, "All right, this is my time to do whatever I had to do." So at the end of the scene, it was my last line. It was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know, I don't know the exact line it was, but it was just like." Um, it kind of dies off, and I'm like, okay, so here, sign your name, put your name, your email, your phone, and XYZ. And it went on for like 10 seconds longer. And everyone's just waiting around because, once again, there's no direction for any other actor. The background actor is supposed to do what they're doing. And me and my scene partner, um, who plays Cam on the other side, is like opposite. So if the camera's on me, I'm like, okay, I have all of the control in this scene. So I just improv and I'm like doing the things that my role, I play the treasurer of the frat, which is Kate,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
who is the KEK, that's the frat at All American Homecoming.
Yeah.
And I'm playing the treasurer, so I'm asking questions that I think like a counselor would maybe ask you, or a treasurer will maybe ask you. And it went on for 10 seconds, and afterwards, the whole crew was just like, "Great improv, like that was really good, really good." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Like, I did my thing. And then maybe like a week later, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna write you in for the next episode." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Ooh, all right.
I had one scene. The next episode, I had 2 scenes. The third episode, I had 3 scenes. The fourth episode, I'm like, "Okay, I'm part of the show now." So um,
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm very excited about that. That comes on January 23rd. That's their mid season finale. They had that break, and now that will be the first episode that comes back, and I'm in it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was when I was catching up on like a lot of work and stuff, I would have All American on in the background for I want to say 2 weeks straight. Like that's all I did. So I was on my laptop doing everything, and it's staying up. And so then
Yeah.
I've like from being in LA, I knew a few of them on there, and like I've met some of them and whatnot. So that was like, oh, this is cool to just like look up and kind of see them, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
that's cool,
Yeah.
that's cool. But then
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, now I'm excited because I actually like really know Jamar, and so when I'm
Yeah.
working, I get to be like,
Right.
oh, there's my friend. All right,
I
cool.
know, I know. I remember when the original All American first came on, I was just like, this I will fit like a glove on this show. Used to
Yeah.
always say that. Now they're 4 seasons
Hmm.
in, they have a spinoff, and like, the way God works, the way universe works, it's like, you know, got to
Yeah.
kind of
I
speak it into
remember
existence.
I remember you talking about it, saying like, this is the show that I want to be on. And so now like that it finally has come full circle, remembering from you
Right.
talking about it first and now you're there. And I'm like, oh, it's just
Gotta
brilliant.
manifest it.
You got to,
You
you
do.
have to, you
You
have to.
definitely do. And I think
Yeah.
Jabbar is like the king of manifestation, like to be honest.
Well,
I just think like being here, I moved to LA at 17 years old in 2014. And
Mm,
I just always knew I wanted to be an actor. I always knew I wanted to be on TV. I always used to just watch movies and TV and just be like, I can do that. Like I know how to do that. And I used to watch the Oscars and watch the Emmys and just like pretend that's me and pretend that I'm winning these things. And that just never died. That type of enthusiasm never died down. And of course,
mhm.
the longer you're out here, the more money you're spending, the more classes you're taking, the more headshots you're getting, the more just audition opportunities that you're getting. You're just like, I'm not going to give up. Like
Yeah.
eventually something has to give, and I really just am like, you just can't stop because eventually, like a lot of people who even when I came out here to, I went to performing arts school in LA, and I only stayed there for 2 semesters. But a lot of those people who I went to school with, they have went on to do other amazing things. But the acting side of the business is so hard. Like the constantly, we get more rejections in a year than people do in a lifetime, and to constantly just be like, I'm going to pursue my dreams. I'm going to keep on going after this thing that's not even giving me a little bit of anything. It's draining your pockets. It's draining your mental health. It's draining like everything around you, your social life, your family life. Like I was disconnected from my family like the first few years I moved out here. My
Yeah.
friend, it was just so much. It was so much. So um I think it's just like the really power of keep going and knowing that you're gonna make it. Eventually something has to give. That's it.
Yeah.
now when you moved out there and you're starting, are you working like normal jobs? Are you working background roles? Like what all goes into you while you're being told no and trying to get those few yeses?
Yeah, like I was doing my first job in LA. I was fixing the games at Dave and Buster's. One, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an electrician. I'm not nothing, but I got the
I
job.
didn't know that.
That was my first job in
No
LA.
way.
Yeah, that was my first job.
Oh
I did
my.
that for a few. I did a lot of PA work, so it
Yeah.
taught me a lot about the behind the scenes stuff of a lot of things, and just seeing the other talent on the opposite side. You're kind of serving them, and I think service is really good because I was taught the behind the scenes of a lot of things, of how things are ran, and who to talk to for certain things, and what their job is. Um, I what else did I do? I was a counselor, like an overnight counselor, because having an overnight job in LA is probably the best thing when you're trying to
Yeah.
pursue entertainment. So I had an overnight job doing like a counseling. Like, how was I even qualified to do that? um, what else I was a valet
Yeah.
for 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years, where I was at Warner Brothers. I used to be like every single day. I used to walk past Ellen's stage. I would used to walk past all these sets, and I'm like, God, please, I want to work here. I want to be an actor here. I want to drive up and get my own car valeted here. And that's now where I shoot All American. And it's just, every time I'm on that set, I'm just like,
Oh.
wow. But like a lot of odd jobs in between, a lot of just trying to just stay afloat, because like in
Yeah.
being in LA, it's like it's very expensive for what you get, and just trying to live a lifestyle where you're not trying to please other people, but you're trying to sustain what you have, sustain your apartment, sustain your bills, sustain your car note, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
also just try to have a social life. It's really hard. Like, shout out to the people who don't have family, and don't shout out to the people who don't really have friends out here, because it's really not easy at all. It's not.
Yeah. Now, when you're, because so there is some things that when people think acting, they think like you're always on set, you're always doing something, which that's not the case. You might be on set maybe one day out of the month, and then the rest of the day, well, what are you doing? So, like, I mean, you do have a recurring role, so you're definitely on set way more than just that, like once a month. But when you're not on set and when you're not auditioning for the next role that you are going to get, what are you doing? Do you still have
Um,
those like regular normal jobs, or are you more of like a creator? What is kind of like that other side of Jabbar now?
Yeah, like the last job I had was right before the movie. I was like, I have to quit my job because I'm gonna be gone for so long, and I left. And ever since then, I had this battle of going back to a job, like going back to working. I guess just reporting somewhere, because I'm like, I know something is gonna come about one day. But in between those, like, okay, so for a full year, I didn't have a job, and then it got to a point where it's like, wow, I'm not booking anything. There's nothing really giving. I have to get myself out of debt with my like bills and stuff, and I'm like, I need to do something. So I got back in August. I went back and I worked at Equinox at the front
Yeah.
desk, and it
And now,
was just
wait,
like
this was after you shot Emancipation?
after I shot the Emancipation, after I was already
Mm.
paid, after the checks were cleared and everything was good, it was like actors don't be getting paid that much. Like, I think
Mm.
that's a very big misconception of like, we get paid like I would pay the most I ever been paid on the movie, of course, but
Yeah.
um actors like
But it goes
once
away like that. Like you can land like two national commercials, right? And that pays for your whole entire year, but then that's it. That it doesn't pay for anything else afterwards. So
right,
it's like if you get something, you could be making more than a regular person would make in a year in a sense. But also if you're in LA, I mean, your bills are probably above $3,000, $4,000 alone just on your own. And that doesn't include your taxes, your commissions and everything. Just to
right.
clarify for anybody listening.
Exactly, exactly. I think the big thing is like, okay, if you have an agent, you are paying them 15%. Boom. Say if you have $1,000 check from like a 1 day role player, $1,000 check, you're giving them 15%. Your manager
Gross.
10%.
Yep.
Then you're out of your growth. Let's talk about that, Tyra. They out of your gross,
Gross.
not your net pay.
Mm-mm.
So then you taking the taxes out of it, and then you're left with like if you got $1,000, you're left with like this six hundred
Maybe
dollar
400,
check,
500.
maybe
Yeah.
yeah, like around there, and you're like, this pays one bill, but
Hmm.
it's a battle. It's a battle with that. It's still a battle. Like I'm still learning how to manage my money. I'm still learning how to maximize what I have and do things the right way. But you know, we're here.
Yeah. Well, did
So
you, this is kind of interesting though. Have you noticed that backstage? So there's a lot of like different casting networks, casting websites that you guys can like apply to be on, but your managers are submitting you with breakdowns, and whatnot. But backstage has been trying to make this comeback for like actual creatives, actors, and whatnot, putting regular roles or like social media, like user generated content stuff because they see, I mean, your stuff is just amazing. You shoot very quality, like content. I love to see your daily blogs, your just day in the life on TikTok. It's very nice. It's very well
Thank
put together. And so they're like targeting people like you on that platform now because again, like people who are in movies and TV shows don't really sign up and have a backstage anymore, but I've been seeing it on TikTok so much now that they're trying to do that. And so I'm like, this is really an awesome opportunity, I think, especially for creatives, because it's like you don't want to go back to a regular job ever. Like reporting to somebody, no.
Yeah, unless
Mm-mm.
you love it, unless you love what you're doing and it's with your friends or
Yeah.
somebody you really love. But yeah, like yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Like yeah, I make content for different brands and they'll reach
Nice.
out and sometime they'll reach out. Like even Tower, like shout out to you, Tower. Like you just always say my really good friend. Like you reached out was just like hey, I'm working with this brand and they would love for you to do this. And I'm like okay, cool. And it's doing the same. I love when brands ask you to do things that are related to your actual brand. It's not like something that's out of your comfort. Like I make day in the life vlogs, of an actor, or day in the life of just following me around on busy days. And I love when brands like incorporate their products into like integration and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I do as well. Like for income, I've been really building my online base with like lifestyle things and things of like
Yeah.
I notice just people are really interested in the life of an actor, the life of like someone who's on sets because that's what people want to get to. And I noticed that a lot of people, I started doing that because I noticed that a lot of people don't show that. The people who are on sets, the series regulars, the movie stars. I'm like, where are your content? Like, we want to see you waking up. What's your skincare routine like? What's your your
Mm.
your gym routine like? How, like what is it like being on set around all these lights and cameras and your press days and all that stuff? And I'm like, I want to show that. I want to show that it is possible to go from working at Dave and Buster's and then fast forwarding to being on sets with like the biggest movie stars. Like I like to show that. So that's what I'm really reaching for. Like let's show that other people can do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's so cool
So
because it's really cool to see, just your everyday life, but what you've been able to accomplish these past years.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, growing up in this internet era, did you ever want to do a YouTuber or TikTok creator or, create your own series on these platforms, or was it always just movies and TV shows?
I think it was at first it started as like movie TV shows, and I think moving to LA, everyone always encourages to make your own stuff, like do
Mhm.
whatever you do. And I think I remember moving like my first year here, 2014. I was already making videos of like how to make it in Hollywood, and I'm like, I just moved here 2 months
Yeah.
ago, but like that, and then I think about it. I'm looking back on it. I'm like, this has always been your brand, as to show it, because like taking a leap of faith from moving from a town that's small and doing something that's so unconventional like acting and stuff that's really a pipe dream you you kind of look at it like it's impossible. People look at it as if it's impossible. So I think it turned around to like, all right, I'm gonna make my own content while waiting for my opportunity, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Now, have you ever thought of producing your own, I don't know, short film or mini series or something? I know a lot of people are kind of dabbling into that, so I'm intrigued to see like, has that ever crossed your mind to do it on your own and like raise the money from like Kickstarter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, working. I last year I booked this short film that I did the promo for it. I shot it, and I couldn't do it because I booked Emancipation. And
Oh.
I really wish that I could have done that short. But just
Mhm.
seeing that behind, it was such a small crew, an intimate crew, and I was really close with the director. And
Yeah.
to just be around in that, around him and seeing how he was doing it because it was a Kickstarter. So he was fundraising from like, here's a promo that we shot with our own money, and this is
Yeah.
what you're gonna get when it's fully funded. And just seeing that really inspired me to like, oh, okay, like I write sometimes like when I'm like I should be writing when I'm on this break, but I've been so busy with family. But like open up your laptop and just writing something that kind of means something to you. I've always been like that. Even like people like Issa Rae and like so
Mhm.
many other people who have just gone on to do stuff from like YouTube and then make it to like HBO or something like that. So eventually one day in 2023 I have so many goals, but like that is definitely one thing where it's
Yeah.
like I see people getting picked up from, and there's so many streaming platforms now. There's Tubi,
Mhm.
there's Netflix, Hulu. There's so many even
Yeah.
smaller networks that are like, that's dope. Let's fund it. Let's produce it. So
Yeah.
eventually I'll get to that. Like 2023 is definitely the time of like me writing, collaborating with other people. I don't think I can do it by myself. Like I
Mm.
really want to collaborate with
Yeah.
writers. I want to collaborate with other directors and cinematographers and all that stuff. But eventually, that's a goal for sure.
So,
Yeah. I
do
mean,
you
I think
think
you'll be great at that. So.
Thank you.
do you think that's the way the world's going to go to is just streaming platforms? Do you think movie theaters are going to die, or do you think it'll make a comeback?
I don't think movie theaters are gonna die, unless we have another pandemic that lasts for forever. I think movie theaters are so essential. Like, I don't think you can be. certain movies you just want to see that sound, that scenery. I think that's needed. Streaming though is definitely taking over. I don't know a lot of people who have cable anymore who is just like watching things live. Like unless you have like Hulu or like ABC Live and stuff like that. I don't know a lot of people who have cable. So I think streaming is what it is. The most popular shows ever are on Netflix. They'd be like this broke records, and I'm like, well, there we go.
No. And it's very interesting to see, even on Netflix, like there's a lot of different types of shows and movies, and not just from America. Like there's mini series and limited series that are coming from overseas that are being like on the number one list on articles that are written over here, which is very fascinating to me. So it's like the potential collaboration for something on a streaming platform is just kind
Yeah.
of like endless. Like it could be anyone, you
I
know?
know, I know. Which makes me, you just recalled, like, this is getting bad. This is getting bad. I need to start writing things down because I did this, I did this, show that is like kind of, I have to go into my emails, but I did this show where I did, dubbing for a Mexican show. And it was kind of like
Mm.
Narcos. And I was doing like the other guy's lines in English. And I'm like, that's a whole different market. But they're like, this is the number one show in Mexico. And I'm like, what
Dang.
the? I'm like, I'm playing the English version of this main character. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy. I absolutely just forgot about I did that like maybe in June of last year or so. But like
Ah,
really cool. Yeah.
yeah. There's so much
Hmm.
opportunity. Like it's baffling to me just like how many different things you could possibly do as a creative.
Yeah,
I love
so
it.
much. So much. So
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
But now, okay, so you're visiting family, right? How was your
Mhm.
Christmas? Was it good? I know you're big with your family. So did y'all do anything like very interesting this year? Kind of kept it low key?
I think it's kind of like tradition is like we wake up in the morning, the gifts are around the tree.
Yeah.
I have little siblings. I have a little sister who's 16 and a little brother who's 13. And I'm of course my mom and my dad, and we just open gifts here at the house. We get dressed. We go to my grandparents, where like my uncles and aunts are there, and my cousins, and everyone just kind of convenes at my grandparents, and we exchange gifts. We have talks, drinks, whatever, and then from there it's kind of like free fall. It's like let's gamble, let's talk shit, let's like do whatever. Like it's fun. Like I feel like traditions, like especially with Christmas, is kind of like traditional. I don't look at it as like tradition, but then I look back at it, I'm like we do the same thing every year, but like it feels home. But so far, it's been great. It's been great to just be showered in so much love and support. My birthday just passed last week, and it's a great. This December is like my favorite December ever, for sure,
Oh,
for
well,
sure.
good.
Aww.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love to hear that. When do you fly back to LA?
I go back top of the year. Like I normally don't spend New Year's here. I normally try to go back to LA because I feel like the weather. First off, it was like 6 degrees here the other day, and I'm like, I
Ooh.
have to go. Meanwhile, my LA friends are posting in their shorts in 80-degree weather. I'm like, oh boy, I can't.
Oh,
This is why I moved.
yeah, I feel you on that. No, I can't do the cold. Thank God Texas doesn't actually get that cold.
Yeah, no, I can't get that cold. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And then do you have any like exciting plans right when you get back, or kind of just still chilling out, waiting to see what's next because pilot season's coming up and whatnot?
Yeah, top of the year. So yeah, I think I'm just waiting for All American to come back up. Waiting to see if they're gonna bring me back for more. Um, I have I have a new team. I have a new agent. I have a new manager. So I can't
You
wait to like,
do.
yeah. I've been through so many people, so many
Yeah.
agents, so many managers. That's the way it goes. Like trying to find the right team that works with you, that has good work ethic and is giving you good opportunities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Who
just
are you
excited to
with
learn my.
now?
I'm now with Bright Red Talent and with Canopy Media for my management. So I'm excited. I'm excited to just see what we do at the top of the year. Just go out with a bang. Just want people to work for me just as much as I'm working for myself.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
You want people who believe in you and whatnot. I like this.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, and so tell me about your apartment. You always keep it so clean and so nice and so pretty. And Don,
That's what it looks like.
well, okay, so Donnie, I don't know if you like stalked him, but all of his videos,
I watched a few. I watched a few.
they always pop up on mine. And I mean, this guy, he has so many like cleaning videos and resetting videos, and I'm just like, you keep your place cleaner than mine. I mean, my boyfriend is like a clean freak, so we always have to like keep it as clean as possible and whatnot. But I'm a messy girl, so like that's hard to always have it so nice and perfect and neat. And yours is just like the resetting of it all. I'm like, wow, okay. But do you live by yourself now, or do you still have roommates? What's
No,
your sitch like?
I have a roommate. But like you know how roommates are. It's like you're there, you're not there. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. The
Yeah.
only time I'm like really wanting to clean is like when I'm filming. I'm like, if I put up this camera, it makes me have to clean this area. Like, cause
Yeah.
I could leave my closet the way it is and be like, well, nobody's coming over here. No one's ever gonna see it. So
Oh,
like when I film it, that's when it's like, okay, I have to clean it. I have to do something with it. So it's a cool.
okay.
I love my apartment though. I love living there. It's
Yeah.
really dope. Yeah.
What area are you in now?
I'm in Denise.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not too far.
All right. I miss it over there. I need to go back to LA and visit one day.
Hello, you have friends here.
I mean, I do. That's the good thing. So it's like if I ever actually wanted to go out there, I
So
definitely know I would have
last
places.
time you've been there is when you left?
Yeah.
And was that two
Yeah.
years? 3 years?
3.5 years. I know. I know. But see, it's interesting because Texas, like, there actually is a scene here for entertainment. So
Mm.
there's a lot of commercials and then there's a lot of opportunity to travel. So it's like, even though, I do miss LA, I miss the hustle and bustle of it all, but the fact that I can go and, have a house now, I'm like, I'll take the traveling auditions. There's not as many, but it's still there. And
Oh, for
so
sure.
it was, yeah. But I'm hoping to actually come to LA maybe next year for country dancing purposes. That's what will bring me out there.
You just spoke it. You just spoke into existence just now.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
happening. But no, I mean both Andrew and I miss it. We're just like, it's nice. Like we want to go visit. His best friend is still out there. And so eventually one day. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
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 That's
Donnie, have you ever been to
No, furthest
LA?
west I've been is Texas and Lincoln, Nebraska.
where you from,
Wow.
Donnie?
I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm on the East Coast.
Hey, okay, okay.
But
Mhm.
the act,
You're from South Carolina too, Tyra?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
shooters from
gotcha.
attached to me.
Yeah.
But even the acting scene's really growing out here.
Yeah.
Um, in the Wilmington, North Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia area. It's just, I mean, we have a lot of TV shows here in Charleston. Danny McBride, Bill
Wow,
Murray, they all live out here.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
really dope.
crazy. Like, I mean, even Sandra Bullock moved out here, Emma Stone moved out here. Like, it's
They shoot Outer Banks out there.
Yes.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see. It's like once you kind of like get out of LA, I mean, Emancipation filming in New Orleans, like who would have thunk that like one of your first like biggest breakout roles, you're not even going to be filming it in LA. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So it's very interesting to see like how the world works in that side.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I think they're building a Netflix. I think I just read they're building a Netflix compound studio here in New Jersey. I'm like, imagine
Hmm.
building a series where I could be home. That would be really dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be so cool. I love it. This
yeah,
whole
Speak it
entire
into
world.
existence.
exactly.
I like it. I like it. But okay, so out of everything that you have done so far, these like past 2 years, since it's been this whole big just whirlwind of adventure of just amazingness, what has been one of your like most favorite moments?
Um,
Probably getting 5 grand from Will Smith.
You're hilarious. uh, um, I think I really love my one of my favorite moments is just getting to work on Warner Brothers set, like working there for 2 years, excruciating rain or sun, hotness, working there as a valet, and then being able to go there as an actor, like really just remembering talking to my friends who work with me, just being like, I'm gonna be an actor here one day. I can't like God, please bless me with that, and then actually be able to manifest that. That's like one of my favorite moments here. There's so many. I met so many great people too. Like so many people, there's
Yeah.
so many life lessons. I really grew up out there. Like my entire adulthood, I grew up living out there. So there's so many memories that I've experienced and just been through that I don't know. I can't really pick a favorite. I don't know.
So,
I don't
is
know.
this hard work mentality you have, did that come from your parents, or is there a friend or a mentor that really helped you get that mindset? And how did that mindset kind of come to be? At what age did you really just realize, like, hey, I have to, bust my ass to get where I want to be?
I think like even when I was there, I didn't even necessarily think like that I was busting my ass to like
Hmm.
get to it. I think it was just like this is the way to do it. Like if it's just like I remember riding my bike like I don't know like 10 miles to get to an audition before like and at that time I'm just like I'm new to LA. This is fun. I can explore LA and I can just do it, not knowing that that's a lot of work. That's like dedication to get to your craft and get to your audition. And I don't know. I just always knew I wanted to be on TV and film, and I was like willing to do whatever it took to do that. Um, I of course have my parents who always have like shown that you can get whatever you want, whatever you work hard for. Like, that was always instilled into me as a kid. I played football for 12 years, so that gave me discipline as well of
Hmm.
just going to practice every day and whatever I was doing, I ran track. So
Weightlifting and all part of that too?
yeah, yeah, I was doing all of that. So that kind of gave me structure. So when I
Hmm.
moved out here, it kind of was like, well, you're not completely oblivious to a lot of things. It just takes the experience of knowing, you know?
Well, I noticed on your TikToks you have that poster above your bed that talks about perseverance. Is that a conscious effort on your end? Because, funny enough, a statement that whenever I was in my early 20s, I listened to a lot of motivational stuff. And there was one thing Will Smith actually said in an interview that really stuck with me is if you wanted to build a mansion, how do you build it? And you have to lay one brick
But,
at a time
yeah,
and lay that brick as perfectly as you possibly can. And then eventually, over time, you'll build a mansion.
yeah.
So at that point in my early 20s, I started to realize the things that I say, the things that I listen to, everything that I surround myself with has a huge effect on my psyche. So when I saw that, and I've heard you talk about success and hard work and all that, is it a conscious effort on your part to surround yourself with good vibes, including that poster you have above your bed?
Yeah, like that poster I love. When I first saw it, I had to immediately buy that because it's just a reminder that the consistency, like you have to keep doing something to to make some type of progress. You can't just say you're gonna do it and not like work towards those small little manageable goals. Like it really matters. I think also like I go to church.
Hmm.
I have to go to church and God constantly reminds me of like of what you need to do in order to get the rich, what his promise of it is. I want something, and this is what you have to do in order to get that. So it's constant effort of finding your right tribe, finding your right friends, and making sure you guys are on kind of the same similar path and believe in kind of the same similar things. And um, yeah, you're right. Like I listen to this day. I listen to podcasts, I listen to YouTube videos, sermons, whatever it is, to keep me on that right path.
Hmm.
Stuff that I read on my phone. Like I'm just constantly going to my notes where I'm taking notes in church or taking some quotes that I really like. This will stick with me forever. But yeah, that right on point with
I love that. Now, how about the
What
friendship
is
circles? Go ahead, Tara.
That's literally what I was gonna ask. I wanted to say like, what is your friend group like? Like, what are the types of people that you now like kind of surround yourself with, and what is it like hanging out with them? What do y'all do in LA? How do you guys support one another?
yeah. Most of my closest friends I kind of met in the last like 2 years, like, which is
Yeah.
really crazy. Really crazy. But they are creatives. I have someone here in this live, like Conrad. He is like this bomb photographer that I met, and he's
Aw.
just, that's my right hand for sure. Um, and I have so many friends. Everyone is in the industry, models, and not just people in the industry too, because I think it's really important to mix people with, people who are just like doing other things like that. That's
Mhm.
not in the industry. I have some other best friends who just works at like at stores, and they're just living their lives. And I think it's just kind of a balance. It's kind of just finding all about a balance. I think everything can't be about work. Everything can't be about content. Everything can't be about stuff. Sometimes you just have to live in the moment and um, be able to go to movies and go to Six Flags and just chill out and relax sometimes, because I think you can burn yourself out, in
Yeah.
LA. You can just constantly just be trying to work for something, and then it becomes a job. Like something you really love becomes a job and you don't want to do it anymore. So I
Yeah.
think it's really important to surround yourself with friends and people around you that are feeding other areas in your life, for
Yeah.
sure.
What are some of the
Hmm.
things that y'all like to do when you have days off and you're not, hanging out with each other, doing content and stuff? Because, yeah, that's fun. But outside of all that, what is some
Yeah,
things that, like, is your go to? Like, I want to go to the San Monica Pier and ride scooters or.
I love going to movies. Like I'm signed up for, yeah, I love going to movies. Like I'm signed up for AMC Stub List. Like I get to watch 3 movies a week. Like I really love going to movies. I love bowling.
Oh,
So I went roller skating for my birthday, and I've realized that I really want to start doing this more often, not just like for a certain event. I like outdoor activities. I love going hiking. Um, and just chilling. Sometimes I just like being in the house. Like, let's just chill out here. We can be in each other's presence. We don't even have to talk, but like, let's just do that for sure.
nice. I
Yeah.
like that. What roller skating rink did you go to?
That was in Glendale. I think it was called like Moonlight
Yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That was
Nice.
fun. It was fun.
Okay. I went to the what is it, like the Panorama one in like
Um,
Northridge or somewhere before.
I need
I
to
don't know.
find
It was
more. I
so
want to go.
vibey.
It's fun. It's fun.
You have to. The Northridge
Yeah,
one
it's
was
fun.
really cool. And it's like
Mhm.
we're all just like dancing and grooving.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. But for hiking, did you what is the I'm blanking right now. What is like that
Runyon.
super popular one?
Runyon.
Runyon. Yeah. Do
I
you like
used to.
actually do the whole thing or?
I do. I used to, but I think running is one, like once again, it's like very popular, so it's always packed there. I like
Yeah.
doing Fryman Canyon. It's in Studio City, and it's very small, but
Oh,
it goes through like a town at the end of it, and you get to like go down the mountains and see like really beautiful homes. But I want to
wow.
find some other ones. I know there's some ones that I've never been to, but are beautiful. They have waterfalls and stuff that are really close by. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
definitely do that more.
The waterfall ones, I've been to one and I thought it was so cool. So there's definitely a few more that people were talking about. And it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
you gotta go. You can take some really cute videos there.
Exactly. Get the content.
Yup.
So you said you played football. Do you still watch NFL at college?
I watch my teams. I watch like
Who who are your
I'm
team?
from Jersey, so I rep the Giants. And the Giants
Okay.
actually surprised me this season of like they shouldn't have gotten
They
this far, at all. But
started
like their
off
brand,
hot.
yeah, started off hot, but like we didn't even supposed to get that far. So like seeing them like progress and next year they have a better game plan. That's dope. Um, I watch every now and then. I love watching track too. Like I ran track. I did the 100, 200, 400 relays and stuff. So I love watching new records being broken in that industry as well. Um, but I feel like I'm more so focused on like myself. Like I'll rather go to the track myself and do a track workout, or go to the gym myself and do that, than actually
Mm.
watch it.
Oh, interesting.
Do you prefer running in the morning or in the afternoon?
Mornings. Morning.
Go ahead again.
Afternoons. Afternoons.
Well, what time do you like to wake up?
I, 2023 goal is to actually go to sleep on time, and go to not go to sleep at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Big
and actually go
facts.
at like 10. But the goal is to like wake up at like 6 and just be up. But like I try to wake. My body normally wakes up before 8, normally, or
Mm,
at 8, 8:30, around that area.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like once you become a little bit more of an adult, your body kind of just wakes up. I always definitely wake up before 9 o'clock unless I just am going to sleep in. So
Right.
I feel
Right.
that.
Exactly. Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, I know we're getting up on our time, but is there anything that you like want to give advice on from everything that you've already accomplished to people listening out there, or just like regular life advice that the past 2 years have really helped you with?
Yeah, I think just being true and authentic to yourself is like the key. I think that's when doors start opening because like God didn't place you on this earth to just like be somebody else. Like you have to be yourself. You have to just know that what you are and what you do is important. It's helping someone, even if it's just one person, if it's your siblings or your cousin, like that it's helping somebody. Um, and just really not quitting. I think that's so cliche to be like, don't give up. And it's much easier said than done to just say, don't give up because like I said, financially that can be tough. You know, so, sometimes you can't afford it. Like, what else? I'm gonna live in my car. I'm gonna be homeless. Like that's a factor, of course. But really not giving up, knowing that eventually something will pop. I think those small wins are really important. If you got booked on the show as an extra, all right, well, that's something. I get to be on set doing something that I love one day. Take that as a win. If you're constantly getting callbacks, if you're constantly getting called in to audition for the same casting director, but you're not getting them, take that as a win. Take that as they really like me. Eventually, they're gonna be like, yes, he's perfect for this, and they know you for a role. Um, uh, you just gotta look at life as like you're. I'm grateful to just be doing the thing that I love. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't be about the wins or booking or stuff. It should just be like I am able to wake up and have a passion to keep going and to keep striving for more. And I think like eventually, like I said, it's something has to give. You have to. It has to pay off eventually.
Yeah. I love that. That was very well said.
I like that. I think you got a lot of good energy and you're very passionate. And I think that it's an amazing quality you have. And I really feel that just talking to you, all the passion you have. It makes me just want to get up and, I don't know, go do something even hard, go work hard.
Y'all already working hard. Y'all have it set
I
already.
know,
I love it.
but I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now if you're getting me talking, man.
Yeah, man.
No, I
Thank you.
always
Thank
am
you.
just like, whenever anything that he does pops up, I'm just like, see, that is a kid who has so much persistence. So it's like, if I can't match that, I get mad at myself. I'm like, no, no, no. If he can be that persistent on things, I can be that persistent and I can be that motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very inspirational to like always just be watching anything that you put out. And I love it. I really honestly am
I,
seeing it all the time.
I love, thank you. But I feed off of like you too, Tyra. Like I just see like you went down there, and I remember when you first started doing your dances and stuff, even when you were in LA, and to turn
Yeah.
it into like this mega thing that you're doing. I'm like, that's inspiring. I think that's so inspiring for everybody, like to turn doing something and sticking with it, and then it
Yeah.
really growing and growing before your eyes. Like that's inspiring for everybody, and no matter
It is.
what industry you're in. If you're like one day I'm gonna be a doctor, and then 8 years later you're actually a doctor. I'm like, yo, that's really dope. That's really cool. That's cool that you stuck to something for that long and you knew that that's what you were gonna do and it worked out. Like that's really cool. That feeds me. Anybody, for
Aw.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thunk? But I loved
Yeah.
it, and so it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just gotta stay persistent. I
Absolutely.
that's everything in life. You got to work hard. And people think that things come easy and they don't. You
no,
have to realize it's a process, like you said. And eventually, as long as you work hard enough at it, you're going to figure out a way to get to your goal.
yeah. Which
Exactly.
is why I'm so happy that you took this whole entire hour, talk with us, tell us everything that you did with all like the random jobs, and then the past 2 years, everything that you've accomplished. It's just been really nice to like finally talk to you again and hear that whole entire story.
Right, right. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate y'all for real.
Of
Of
course.
Thank you, thank you.
course.
Very
All
much
right.
enjoyed
Well,
getting to
then,
know you.
Yeah, right.
and then we're going to talk to you next year for the next thing that you book. We're going to come back
Mm,
on.
no, for sure. Yeah, no. Maybe we can be in person. You know what I mean?
I
Hmm.
mean, okay, we're going to put it out there. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
2023. It will.
exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
We can do a little vlog together.
Right, right. Exactly.
All right. Well, have a wonderful night, you two.
No, thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you
Bye.
guys soon. Bye.